What's up, Internet? This is Tech Chucker coming to you with a new action figure review from Figma by Max Factory. It's the Goro Inogashira standard helping version 6-inch scale figure. Now, let me be clear. I know nothing about the show and I know nothing about the manga. I just wanted this figure because it looks cool. I got it because I wanted a figure that had a suit and tie and had lots of articulation, and this figure's got all of that. So let's take a quick deep dive into this figure. All right, let's take a look at the articulation on this figure. All right, so the head has basically there's a ball joint right at the top. There is, you can get good side to side, some pretty decent tilt. He can look down a little bit. It's not as much as I'd like, and looking up is actually a little difficult. As you can see, I'm not able to get that up very much, but you can see in here maybe that, so there's a ball peg, and then there's the standard Figma joint, which is just kind of a ballish hinge joint. It works pretty well. It's a little hard. Mine's a little stiff. Because of the head sculpt, you can't really get it to move. But then there's also a neck joint, and I'm assuming that it's probably the same type of ball joint, and it's pretty limited because of the sculpt, but it works well enough. So I don't really have any complaints there. Okay, moving into the shoulders, he's got looks like a ball joint with, again, the standard hinge. It can move up or out pretty well in full rotation, which is good. And then you can actually move it around pretty well in. So that's really nice. There is a elbow joint that goes pretty close to fully in half, which is nice. And then in the wrist, there's that standard Figma joint, which allows really good rotation, but it is a little difficult because the hands are actually angled in such a way, but it works. In the torso, there's the ball joint, allows for a decent ab crunch, not super great. Back arch is actually pretty good, you can see here. So I like that pretty good. And then the waist swivel is very functional, and I like that quite a bit. When you look at the hips are actually also on a ball joint. Pretty good kick out, which works, really well. Very, very good forward kick. You can see here, I mean, that's really good, especially compared to like a Marvel Legend. And then the backwards kick is really good as well. And I don't know if I've had any Marvel Legends that can kick back that far. There's a thigh swivel, not a double jointed knee, but a really good knee joint as well. It looks a little funny, but then the ankle, it's again that standard Figma joint, which works fairly well. You can move it back about that much. You can move it forward about that much. So not too bad. There is an ankle rocker, which works really well. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the articulation on this figure. It's really well done. The one complaint that I have is the hips are a little loose on mine, and so it's a little difficult to get him to stay in that position, but it still holds, and it's really quite easy to get him positioned the way that I want. And with a little bit of finagling, you pretty much have all the positioning that you need within with all of the types of joints that Figma uses, which is pretty much the same joint throughout, just in different sizes. All right, let's talk sculpt. And this figure comes in around just under 6 inches. So when you're comparing it to your Marvel Legends, he's a little bit shorter, but he's not a superhero, so in the end, this figure's got really nice sculpt work. I really like the softer plastic. It's kind of a rubbery material for the suit and the shirt so that it doesn't get in the way. This tie seems really nice and soft. The hips, that's actually a soft plastic as well. And then you get the harder pieces, which are the arms, the head, the legs, and obviously the joints and the feet. I will say that the feet are a little small. They seem a little bit small for this figure. Now, it doesn't entirely affect the ability for, standing the figure, but um, it just looks a little funny. I would think that it should be a little bit larger, the feet. But all in all, the sculpt looks really nice. You can see here the back of his suit. The coat actually comes off, which I'll show in a little while. But the sculpt, really, I mean, it's a solid sculpt. They did a really good job with this. All right, so let's talk paint. Now, on this figure, there's not a huge amount of paint, which is fine because it's not really meant to be, a real natural looking figure. It is more of a cartoony comic manga look, I guess. So on the face, there's really no shading, but the paint that is there, it's really clean. It's well done. I like the skin tone. The eyes they did really well. A lot of the Marvel Legends, you get kind of a derpy look. His eyes are really well done. The tie is nicely painted. It's very clean. I have zero complaints there. Throughout the rest of the figure, it's pretty much molded plastic, the coloring, and they did it really well. The suit coat matches the color of the hard pieces, which is really nice. All in all, the little tiny bit of paint that's there, very well done. All right, let's talk accessories because this figure comes with a ton of accessories. I think most Figma figures seem to come with quite a few accessories, but this is my first Figma, and there is a ton, as you can see. So let's just kind of go through the list of accessories. So here there is a little extra suit, and that's so that he can put his hand in his pocket, and I'll show you that. You get a little rice bowl with a little bit of rice that can come out, which is kind of cool. Um, and then you get 3 faces, and I'll see if I can actually get this to focus in. So you get a regular face that just kind of, kind of a half smile almost, which is really nice, and that just kind of pops onto the head. I really like these faces, and I like the way that they do this. Here's another face. This one really is very similar to the first one. I think the first one is actually intended for the cigarette smoking, like he's kind of blowing. But this one is just kind of just a normal at rest. And then you get a face where he's eating. The hands, we get a ton of hands. See, and you get this cool little holder for the hands as well. So you basically get 8 for the holder, and then you get a little chopstick one with the rice bowl. You get a cigarette smoking one. You get kind of a open hand, and then you get the pocket. And so I'm going to take this jacket off. You have to take the arms off in order to take that jacket off. I'm sorry, you're not going to see all of this, but basically you just kind of pull that off. You can see there's not a lot to the upper torso, but then you slide this new jacket on. You have to kind of pull it a little bit, but not too much to get it over those joints. And then you can throw the arms back on, which they peg on really easily. And then you take and pull the forearm off of the left arm and peg this upper bicep on, and then take the pocket hand forearm piece, peg that in, and then there is a soft pocket because the hip piece is actually that soft plastic rubber, and you can go ahead and pose him as though he's smoking a cigarette with his hand casually in his pocket, and this just looks really cool. That alone was one of the reasons why I wanted this figure. He just looks super cool. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? All right, so in addition to all of those other accessories, you also get the standard Figma little Ziploc bag to put all of the accessories in. And then you also get a Figma stand, which is nice. It's kind of a clear plastic with a lot of articulation joints in it so that you can get your figure into some of those nice action poses. For the price point, the accessories, you can't go wrong. This is a great value. Okay, so overall, this figure does not disappoint. The articulation's on point. It is awesome. The sculpt is really well done. I really like the soft pieces and the hard plastics together. They really work well. It is a little bit short if you're putting it with Marvel Legends, but I can live with that because I'm probably not going to put them with those all that much. But you could, with a little bit of forced perspective, you could probably make it work anyway. And then the paint, though it is more of a cartoon look as opposed to more of a realistic look, it's very clean. I'm very happy with it. All in all, uh, the accessories is what puts this thing way above and beyond any of the other figures I've got at this point. I'm a new collector, so when I get some of these figures that go above and beyond what I'm used to, I am extraordinarily happy. So I would highly recommend you go buy this figure. If you know and have read the manga and watched the show, even better. The price point's pretty good. Right now it's around 40 bucks on Amazon. So I would definitely say go get this figure. All right, stay tuned. I'm hoping to have a lot more reviews out there. Until then, subscribe and stay tuned for more.
Textures